welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Eddie. Today we'll be swapping out a pitch mount on my GR Corolla. I've already got an aftermarket one installed, the Delta X Motorsport one. However, I need to swap the bushing out on it for a different video that's coming later on. But stay with me here because everything we'll be doing here is the exact same thing you'll do to swap out the stock pitch mount. I would say if there's only one mod that you can buy for your GR Corolla, it would definitely be the pitch mount. In my opinion, that's what I would pick. It just improves the driving experience and the shifting experience if you're one of the guys that has a manual and not the automatic tremendously. I can't even put into words how much of a difference it makes. So I'm gonna show you what tools we need and let's get started. All right, this is a pretty straightforward install. You're gonna need a 22 millimeter, a 14 millimeter, a 10 millimeter, a flathead, a breaker bar unless you're strong or have an impact, and torque wrenches unless you're a savage and you don't use torque wrenches. I have two because one of them does not go as low as I need it to. So yeah, that's all we need for this job. So let's get going. All right, looking at the car here, there is 10 millimeters, I believe there is, that we need to remove. Be this one, 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 and same on this side, this one. All right, let's get these out. All right, after removing those, you're gonna flip these little tabs down. We actually have some clips to remove. Let me show you those. Right in the center of this splash shield, you'll see this clip. You just pop it out. And this is pretty much the only one, I believe, that's holding this splash shield up and makes it easier for you to get all the 10 millimeters in. And once we pop this one out, we'll move on to the clips. All right, let's get these clips out. You don't be too rough with them. I just like to stick a flathead under them and then kind of twist it and it'll pop the little head out of it. Doesn't require any special tools, just don't break them. All right, now the whole tray should just fall right down. And it did. All right. Let's move on to the next step. All right, show you how simple this is. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 14 millimeters. This is a 22 millimeter. This is a 22 millimeter. Now, I'm not gonna loosen this because I'm not removing this from here, but on the stock one, you're gonna wanna remove this in the car so that you're not trying to fight with it on the bench. Just loosen it, you don't have to take it out. Just make it to where you can get it out easier on the bench. So we'll start with the 14s, then loosen this guy. All right, now we're gonna loosen this guy. Then I'll get the rest out with the impact. Whoops, there's half my bushing. All right, let's get this over to the bench and I'm gonna show you what you would do if this was a stock one. All right, this is what the stock one looks like. A lot of people think that this is torn from torn from driving. It's not true, it's just part of the molding. I feel like it's a common misconception, but this thing is pretty sloppy and lame. So This would be attached to your stock one, obviously. You would just remove this bolt to be flipped this way. You would remove this bolt, install this on the new pitch mount, and you can get this pretty snug, but you'll torque it on the car because it's over 100 foot-pounds to get it torqued. So what I'm doing is I'm swapping out my bushing, like I said, for another video that I have planned that's coming soon, where I'm going to compare all three hardness of these bushings from Delta X. I'm running the 78 right now, which is my favorite. The 80 was my favorite until I put exhaust on the car, and the vibrations are just way too much. So I think I could capture those on a video, so we'll see. So I'm putting the 60, which is the softest in here, which I'm sure will still be way better than the stock mount itself. But I'm putting these in here to break them in because I want to do a fair test between all three of them. So I'm putting these in here to break them in now, and this is how that'll be done. This is pretty easy, so if you get one of these, you know what to do. Be mindful of the up when you install this guy on here. And thanks, Jeff, for sending me this bushing. So now I have all three of them. All right, let's get this thing back on the car. All right, we're gonna take the mount. Obviously, up goes up. I'm gonna slide it in here. It's a little snug, I'm assuming, because this bushing is fresh and a little more rubbery than the 70 and the 80. Got that lined up. Let's use a screwdriver to kind of get it centered in that hole. Then you're going to take this big guy, and I'm just going to snug this down. I'm not going to torque it yet. And we're going to grab these 14s. Get them started. All right, get these in here. All right, let me get the torque wrench set up and we will torque these down. All right, I don't think it matters too much on if you do these or these first. This guy, this 22, is a 148 foot-pounds. All right. These are going to be 32 foot-pounds. Kind of like to do them in an X pattern. I wouldn't get too crazy with these either if you're not using the torque wrench, because this is aluminum that you're going into, and it'd be pretty easy to pull the threads out of there. All right, now remember on the bench I said you would loosen this, but since I'm not swapping this, I didn't. But this would be 125 foot-pounds, and at this point is when I would do that one. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it for this. Let's get the bottom back on. All right, guys, now we're just gonna put these clips back in and put this bad boy back on first. All right, that is it for those. Now we will get the front tray back on. I have an extra one. Oh, here it is. All right, front tray. This is where that lone push clip comes in handy. It holds it here for you. So you're going to make sure you get it under this little sleeve here, right here, on both sides, and also make sure that these tabs are out. All right, now you're going to use your sole clip to get this thing in place. All right, now we're going to get our 10mm. Remember, the silver ones go on the back side here. I like to get them started I don't know the torque spec on these. I just tighten them until they're snug. I'm sure somebody will chime in. If you know the torque spec, drop a comment. And these are actually going in the metal, so I'm not suggesting you over tighten them, but it's not as crucial as if these up here going in plastic. All right, now we're gonna get our last screws here. All right, don't go crazy with these. Once I start getting some resistance, I stop. All right, guys, that's it. All right, guys, as you see, that is very simple to do. If you found this video helpful, please drop a like. If you want to see more content like this, I've got a lot more coming on Toyotas, GR, whole 9 yards. This is just the beginning. So please subscribe. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Drop a comment if you have any questions or comments. Thanks.